So hi, welcome to Guys Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Jacob, and we're in the band Phantom Code.
And we have some questions to say about their new single, No Future. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you guys feel about the response to it so far?
It's been pretty awesome. Definitely our, I think, most popular song in the shortest amount of time. It really reached a lot of people in a way we weren't necessarily anticipating. And yeah, we're really stoked on it. Like more than any of the other ones we've put out in the past, the response has just been so good and so instantly good.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. This song fucking rips. Found it on TikTok about 5 minutes before the song came out. And it seems like the response has been good because the last time I visited your page, you guys had a few hundred monthly listeners. And then I looked today and you got a few thousand monthly listeners. So it seems like the response has been good to this one.
Yeah, it's been great. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't know what it is about the song, but I don't know if it just caught the Spotify algorithm or what, or just people are listening and they like what they hear. But yeah, totally unexpected, totally out of left field, and it really pushed us to get the next one out real soon.
Hell yeah. Well, the song's groovy. It's catchy as hell. That chorus is catchy as shit. And I would say you guys are crushing the content because I'm one that's typically like 2 seconds and then I scroll right away. But like something about yours just caught my eye. So I think it's a mixture of all that.
That's great feedback because, you never know with the content you produce and put out in the world if it's going to stick or not. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So is there any meaning behind the single title or cover art?
Yes, the art, maybe not. It's funny though, a lot of the way that we approach our songs is Niles, who's not here, and Tyler write all the material instrumentally. And usually there's a working title for the song that I don't even know what the inspiration usually is for that, Tyler. I'm guessing you just come up with a random name, but I'll be curious to hear your answer. And funny enough, I often just use that name as a starting point for lyrical inspiration. I feel like I'm at the point where there are usually some things I want to say and some things that I have like lyrics for already, but in some cases I just want a little bit of a jumping off point. And yeah, to keep it broad, I would say No Future is really about like generational conflict and, the way that can sort of damage, the future for the generations we leave behind. Same could be said by, generations above us and like the conflict that we've inherited from some of those generations. So that's essentially what it's about. And then the art, I would say is just something cool that Niles put together.
Fair enough. Hell yeah.
Badass.
That's kind of how we come up with the names too, to be honest with you. So we oftentimes will just like pull on inspiration from movies or video games. So we recently went through a string of naming songs after different things from Apex Legends, the video game.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
We named a song like Nemesis, which is like one of the guns in the game. We named another one Havoc too, actually, which is another gun.
Yep.
So just, I don't know, we just pull inspiration from whatever we're like, doing at the time.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, that's sick. Hell yeah. So can you guys tell us a little bit about your writing process for this track?
Yeah, so when Niles and I are putting things together, typically what happens is one of us will start kind of most times like have like an intro, verse, chorus kind of idea going that we'll build off of. So for that one, actually, funny enough, we started that one from scratch. I just threw the whole previous part of my response out the window. That one we start from scratch actually. So usually one of us just has like a cool riff or something that we want to play off of, or we'll have like a vibe for a song. So for No Future, we knew we wanted to do something that was a little more upbeat because a lot of the songs that we have so far are kind of similar tempos. So we really wanted something that was a little more driving, a little more upbeat. And we were listening to a bunch of songs that had like the drum beat that's in the verse, like it's like a break beat. So we had listened to a bunch of songs that like had that in that, and we're like, we need a song that has a breakbeat in it. So that's it sort of just came from there.
Gotcha. And then Jacob, you just get the instrumental and you write the lyrics to that?
Yeah, I'm really fortunate to where even like a first day demo from Tyler and Niles is so well produced. There's orchestration, there's ambience, like it sounds almost ready to go. So our pre-production process is like basically at least 50% of our actual production process. So yeah, I pretty much get hand delivered like a perfect instrumental ready to go, and I write on top of that. And in some cases, I'll cut sections or make like recommendations for little shifts. But usually it's just one or two things. Like the unreleased one that we have coming out soon, I think I just cut like 8 bars before a chorus just to make it flow a little better because of the way the vocals were building. But yeah, in essence, I get an amazing sort of foundation to work with from them, and I just write on top of that, and usually that works out pretty well.
Gotcha. That's good.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then just out of curiosity, who are some of the artists or songs that you kind of listen to while trying to get inspiration for this track?
I don't know if there's any songs in particular, but a lot of the things we've been listening to lately are like Niles and I have both been obsessed with the newest Invent Animate record.
Yeah.
The new Era record. We actually all together all went to the Era show when they were here. What was it, last month?
Nice.
Just so we draw inspiration from a lot of the same bands, and even like Bad Omens and Sleep Token and Spirit Box, like a lot of the modern metal bands that are out there these days we're pulling inspiration from.
Yeah.
I can speak to that on the vocal side as well. I think speaking to sort of the breakbeat that Tyler was discussing, I'm sort of a drummer myself, so I think of things very rhythmically, and I was looking to some of those sort of breakbeat metal songs for inspiration on how the vocalists would phrase things. I can't remember the title, but there's one of the new Spirit Box tracks has that feel to it. I think one of the biggest ones they have right now. So I was listening to that to sort of see what the cadence was like and whether it worked, and then definitely listened to a lot of Bad Omens for inspiration in like verses and stuff like that. And I almost always, when I'm writing, will just turn on Wage War just to get sort of some inspiration. I mean, they just like Cody in particular just. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's good reminder. But yeah, Cody is just. I feel like no one does it better when it comes to catchy choruses, and that's like what I aspire to do. So I often just will turn on a couple earwormy choruses just to sort of get my head in that space.
Hell yeah. Definitely check out the Wage War if you have time tonight. If not, ASAP. Been jamming it for a little bit. It is so good. Cool. It is so fucking good. It gave me goosebumps and blew me away the first time I heard it.
I love the singles, so I can't wait.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So I want you two to tell us your favorite lyric off this track and what it means to you. And if you don't have a lyric, instrumental moment works as well. I'm
having to remind myself because we just finished
I know
the one that's unreleased. So that is like fresh in my mind, and we just literally yesterday finished it. So that one's really fresh. But I'm thinking back on the No Future lyrics. I don't know, Tyler, do you have a favorite moment?
Yeah, I mean, I knew from the get-go on that one that the chorus was going to be sick. Like, I'm a big fan, and Niles, props to Niles because he's the groove master. And so like we just had that chorus fleshed out, and it just had that like groove to it, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a good one. So I knew right from us putting that song together that it was gonna be like one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not say the chorus. I take a lot of pride in the lyrics I write. I studied journalism in college, so very much like words and storytelling matter a lot to me. And I think with this chorus, I had drawn some inspiration. I can't remember what I was reading, but there were even some phrases I picked up. And I really try and write lyrics that are accessible and memorable and digestible, but also like have some substance to it. And I feel like this chorus, really accomplishes both of that. So that'd be my answer.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
So where was your guys' headspace at while you guys are writing this track?
Man, it's hard to remember because this one's probably been sitting around for like almost a year, maybe at this point.
God damn.
Yeah, I'll say that's the other interesting thing about the dynamic of our band is Tyler and Niles will get together for like a writing session, and speaking to what I said earlier about delivering like completely finished demos, usually they'll spit out 2 or 3 in a session. So I have just this backlog of like, I don't know, 20 plus really good, like ready to go songs that I sort of need to decide which one's speaking to me, which one am I inspired by, which one do I want to tackle. Which is probably why it's been sitting around for a year, because you guys wrote it a while ago and we've, had others to pick from.
Yep. That's all it is. Yeah. We just have so many at this point that it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Wow. So when you're kind of sorting through that giant folder of finished songs, like where do you start? Is it just kind of one that kind of speaks to you first, or do you go in order? What's that process like?
Definitely not in order. I was listening back the other day because, again, we were finishing up this new one. I was like, all right, well, what's the next one going to be? And again, we have a drive folder that has like 15 or 20 demos in there. I think I, number one, want it to be distinct from whatever the last one we put out is. We're going on singles right now. We're not really working toward an album or anything like that. We want to put out as much music as possible, as frequently as possible. So I'm sort of looking for demos that show a slightly different side of us, maybe take influence from a different source. I don't want us to put out the same song twice, and kind of what Tyler was saying too about wanting to have like a token breakbeat track, like, that was a very different vibe for us and something we didn't have before. And I think, the one that's to come as well is also in that direction, where it's a slightly different energy that we haven't produced in the past. So that's what I'm really looking for.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Yeah. And I would say sometimes Niles and I will be like, this is the next one. Like, I think sort of Replicant, the last single that we put out was one that both he and I were like, let's do this one next. But I personally am very much in the vein of like, just let Jacob pick whichever one's speaking to him, because we'll just get the best result out of it,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't want to force it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys come with the instrumentals, but it's ultimately him that's got to put the pen to the paper. So whatever's speaking to him.
Yeah.
And we'll get to many of them in the list, but I always want to go with what's instantly like, oh my gosh, this one's so. I feel like last week I was texting them and I was going back through that drive, getting ready for the next one. I was like, oh wow, this one's so sick, and I was like, wait, but this one's so sick too. So the decision hasn't been made on what the next one is, but there's a lot to pick from.
Hell yeah.
And we don't take any offense if like they do or don't get used. It's like we just keep making them, so they're there to use if you want them or not.
Yeah, makes sense. So this one should be super, super quick off top of your heads. I want you guys to describe this single for new listeners in 3 words. 3 words each, 6 total, no more, no less.
Groovy, heavy, catchy.
Nice.
Damn.
That was nice and
fast.
fast.
That shit locked and loaded.
It's ready.
I got to 1 in the time that you got to 3. Angry was the only word I could think of instantly, just thinking of the lyrical component. Man. Do I have to do 3? It's not gonna be quick for me, so I'm just gonna say angry for now.
Okay.
And I think that complements Tyler's words well.
All right. So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the single?
It's funny. This song has, speaking to your earlier point about our streams doing very well. This has done well in a couple like workout playlists, which with metal there's always some crossover there, and that's not necessarily the vibe we were going for, but hey, if it's resonating with you and helping you through a workout, like that's great for me. But I don't know. I always want our songs to, in a sea of metalcore and heavy music that can often sound very similar, I want our song to stand out to you somehow. Shane, you mentioned like finding us on TikTok and like not instantly scrolling through it. That's what I want people to get out of this. It's something that's like instantly familiar, but also, different in some ways, like familiar enough to bring you in, but unique enough to sort of keep you around.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Love that. All right. So what is your favorite memory that you guys made while creating this track?
I would say, so all the content that we filmed for this, pretty much we filmed like in the afternoon before we went to the Era show that night. So just like, I don't know, having that experience, we were all just hanging out, like taking turns shooting video and stuff. And then we just, went and had a couple drinks at the Echoplex and watched Era. That's probably my favorite. It was fun.
I'd have to second that, except for the fact that I'm almost certain I got COVID from that show.
Oof.
And
No.
actually, so did Niles. I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that. So two of the three of us, and four, we had another friend with us. So half of us got COVID from that day, but still an amazing day. And I agree that that's the memory that sticks out in terms of putting this song together. Was we do we all live in LA, but we do
Mhm.
so much of our work remotely. We don't meet up that often,
Mhm.
and it was a treat to be able to just hang out, shoot some content, but also just have a good time at a show.
That's good.
That's
Hell
good.
yeah.
Mhm.
Do you guys struggle at all with like the being a content creator but also being an artist at the same time, and like having to promote on TikTok even though you want to just be making music? Like, is that a struggle for you guys, or have you just kind of been like, this is the way it is, you know?
Does anyone say no to that question? Like, no, it's fun and I love it and it's not a struggle.
The only people that might have said no, if there has been anyone, is someone that like grew up doing it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think
Yeah.
we're at that point, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
think we're at the point where it's like, all right, we have to do this. So, let's make a day out of it like we did with with No Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's undeniable the impact it can have. So I think we all recognize that and recognize, the days of like grinding it out with as many local shows as possible, and then hoping you can expand into a wider region. That maybe the scene that we grew up and the framework that we grew up in, trying to get big as a musician, is very different now, and that's sort of been replaced by how much you can be visible on the internet. So we recognize that, we lean into it as much as we can, but we're also guys in our 30s who are grumpy about it sometimes, but that's how we're going to reach people, and we want to reach as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
For
Fair
sure.
enough. So for this question, I want you guys to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
This one I have an answer for immediately,
I
and
do
it's
too.
any like Haribo gummy product. Like that's the go-to
Damn right.
every single time. I love a
Mhm.
good the cherries, gummy bears never go wrong. I like just like the fun party mix as well, just a little bit of everything, but it's that every time.
Mhm.
I'm a
Damn
peanut
right.
M&M
Oh,
go-to.
hell yeah.
Do you ever
Great
freeze them?
choices.
No, but interesting.
Yo.
Give it a
Mhm.
shot.
Yeah.
Harder in a touring setting, but
Yeah.
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 And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
I'm going down the train of thought of what I said earlier, which was I want it to be like familiar enough that you kind of know what you're getting into, but maybe surprises you. Maybe it's a little bit like more interesting than you've had before. So, oh man, I want to say like the best, most interesting pizza you've had in 2 years.
Okay. What's
Alright.
on that pizza that makes it so interesting and special?
Maybe something a little unexpected. Some
So
intense
yes,
flavors.
there's a place nearby me that is, um, it's like an Indian pizza place.
Oh shit.
So they use all like the Indian spices, but it's a pizza, but you get like tikka masala and stuff on it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like familiar but different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
All right,
fucking
that's
awesome.
Is that Pija Palace?
Yeah.
Yeah, great answer. Thanks for bringing it home for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
And for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
I want a burrito with like barbacoa and just guacamole and all of it. I can eat Mexican food all day, every day, anytime. And honestly, I'd take a margarita with it too. That's perfect.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go just a classic like steakhouse dinner meal. Just a steak and
Bourbon.
some bourbon, maybe a martini. I want to go out. I want to go out on top. So that's my answer.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. All right. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
I'll just give my gut answer and hopefully with a disclaimer. Westworld.
Westworld.
And yeah, like one of our earlier songs, I used Westworld, like the TV show, inspiration for that. And I don't know if you've seen the show, but it's like a Western theme park where you can just like it's almost like a video game. You go into this theme park and interact with like the robots that are in there, and there are a lot of a lot of bad stuff happens, which I don't support. But yeah, just to like play cowboy for a week, you know, and just be in like an old western town, I think would be a blast.
Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. I was kind of thinking the opposite. There's this video game, Cyberpunk 2077.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Like that would be cool, where you have some like bionic enhancements and like, you know, can run really fast and, you know, just read people's minds and stuff.
Yeah. Damn right.
Hell yeah.
Damn right.
And I've not asking the last question. Every single person who's spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Nice.
Solid.
Green.
Hell yeah.
Great.
All right. So, as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Keep streaming No Future. We most certainly have a new song coming out within the next month, so keep an eye out on our socials for that. And we just appreciate all the new fans that have come in recently, and hopefully the ones that are about to come in as well.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you for Snaz, guys. Ben, Tyler, and Jacob from Phantom Code, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.